It's the best time to team up with a Honda. Presented by Honda at the Model Clearout event. It's the best time to team up with a Honda you'll love.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium. We are in New York, and yes, the umbrellas are out. We have been all too familiar with rain. The last 3 games for the Blue Jays have all been delayed by rain. And the umbrellas are out early, but hopefully it will hold off long enough for us to get this game in. John Gibbons and the Blue Jays coming off a 4-game split of the series in Kansas City. Let's take a look at the lineup for John tonight. Granderson, Travis, and Smoke. Top of the order. Kendrys Morales, he's in that cleanup spot. And look at his numbers against the starter Lance Lynn. He's 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. And there's more trouble for Lynn behind Morales. Russell Martin, he too has hit well against the Yankees starter. He is looking for a streak to continue as Russell Martin has reached base in 13 straight games.
What a nice pickup this was for the New York Yankees. Lance Lynn, 23 games between Minnesota and the Yankees. He has an 8-8 record, but since he has become a Yankee, he has turned it on. This is his 3rd start and 4th appearance for them, originally selected by the St. Louis Cardinals in the 1st round way back in 2008. Against Toronto, he hasn't had a whole lot of luck. The Blue Jays saw him when he was a member of the Minnesota Twins back at the end of April, and they treated him rough. 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, and 5 walks for Lance Lynn. He signed late in the wintertime, and I think that was more like a spring training game for him.
So Lynn is 31 years old now. Here's the first pitch of the ball game to Curtis Granderson, up and away for a ball. We are underway. It is 29 degrees, and it feels like it's 40. It is that muggy here at Yankee Stadium. The rain has been forecast, so we'll keep our fingers crossed here in New York. Here's the 1-0 to Granderson. Cut on and missed.
Here's the thing that Lance Lynn's been doing since he's come to the New York Yankees. He's been using his fastball very effectively. Aaron Boone has talked about him using the fastball up in the strike zone, down, in, and out. He can still backdoor you or throw you the breaking ball, but he's really established his fastball.
Fastball's the best pitch in the game. I don't care how hard you throw it or how soft you throw it. You locate your fastball, you can pitch in the big leagues. 3-1. And the converse is true as well. If you can't locate your fastball, you're going to have a short night.
Yeah, and now here he sits. 3-1 to Granderson in a home run hitter's ballpark for a left-handed hitter. Grandy had a fastball count the other night in Kansas City and turned on one for a home run.
He'll take a leadoff walk this time. So the first batter reaches base. That'll bring Devin Travis to the plate. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense. Gardner Hicks and Neil Walker in the outfield, and that's a different look, of course. Normally, you see Aaron Judge out there.
Yeah, but he is hurt with a chip fracture in his wrist, so Neil Walker will get the start, his 7th in right field. Aaron Boone was saying he likes the job that he has done out there for him. He makes all the plays. He's never played in the outfield before, but he really likes what his veterans giving him in the outfield.
This is his 7th start in right field. Evan Travis goes after the first pitch, and Duhar cuts in front of the shortstop. They get the lead runner, and that's all they'll get. Granderson is out on the fielder's choice, 5-4.
Took their time that time. No chance to turn the double play with Travis. Let's take a look at the scouting report for tonight's starter for the Yankees, Lance Lynn. Again, lots of fastballs, and be ready to hit it. 77% of the time, he is going to use that fastball. He'll mix in a slider. He'll backdoor that slider at times, curveball and changeup. He's getting a lot of strikeouts, especially with his fastball.
Lynn spent 6 seasons with the Cardinals, and he was a very good pitcher in the National League, a 72-47 record. Justin Smoke, we talked about how well Smoke has hit against the Yankees. He has 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and a 350+ batting average. Over the last month, he's hit over 300, got his average back up to 257.
Justin says the whole key for me to be an effective hitter is be ready to hit. When you're guessing at the plate or you're chasing pitches around the strike zone, that's when he starts to get into trouble. But when he's ready to hit and ready to hit the fastball, that's when he has his most success.
Fouls this one back. Now, explain that a little more in depth, because fans listening are going, well, he should be ready all the time. But what's the difference? What Smoke defines as being ready to hit?
Well, it's about being ready to hit that first fastball in the strike zone instead of guessing at the plate or looking for certain pitches. Just be ready to hit at the plate. Says my lower half is very important too. I've got to get my lower half to get me started to hit.
Load that lower half, get engaged, and anticipate that you're going to get a fastball until you don't. And that's when he's at his best. 1-2, 1 out. Travis at first base. He bounced into a fielder's choice. That gets away from Romine, and Travis will go to second. Takes a big turn around second, and he'll stop there. Romine's doing a lot of the catching with Gary Sanchez on the deal. It's the 53rd start Romine has made behind the plate, and he didn't have a very good shot at blocking this ball, and Travis is thinking about going to third.
I have seen that in that old ballpark when the backstop was, what, about 50 feet behind you. Players go first to third on wild pitches or score from second base on wild pitches. A little bit different in new Yankee Stadium.
One of my biggest fears catching an old Yankee Stadium was letting the ball get behind me.
You'd run for days going to go chase it.
2-2 to Smoke. Outside, it's a full count. I believe it was over 100 feet back to the backstop at old Yankee Stadium, and it was crowned, so when you went back behind home plate, it was going downhill.
That's a long way. That is a long way to go chase a wild pitch.
Full count, 1 out. Blue Jays trying to break out on top here in the top of the first. He takes ball 4 high. So 2 walks already issued by Lance Lynn. You talk about his fastball command, and that's anybody's key to their success. You got to throw strikes.
Well, what's new? This is how he pitched against the Blue Jays back in April. Very carefully against the Blue Jays. He threw 5 innings and had 5 walks that day.
This is not the same Blue Jay team of a few years ago, and they had all those great power hitters, and this team is not the same lineup, so I don't know why everybody is so cautious pitching to. Kendrys Morales, we mentioned his success against Lynn. He's 3 for 4 with a pair of home runs against the Yankee righty. And Lynn, he's been battling this perspiration all throughout the start of this game. It's muggy, as we mentioned, and he just can't find a good grip on that baseball.
Not even close with that breaking ball. He needs to get that rosin bag and dry off the arm just a little bit. Not the hand, the arm, because it looks like it's pouring down his arm and onto his hand.
There's a strike, tough pitch down and away to Morales.
Well, I think there's no doubt how they're going to pitch to some of these power hitting left-handed hitters that the Blue Jays will throw up there. Smoke and Morales. They're going to try and keep the ball away from them. Anything on the inner half has a chance to go out of the ballpark.
That's a fair ball. Travis is going to come in to score. Smoke is going to stop at second. They're throwing behind him, and Torres couldn't hold on to the baseball. Brett Gardner always playing heads-up defense. Smoke made a big turn. Gardner got to it and threw a one-hop strike to the second baseman, but Torres couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, he was going to be out at second base. Brett Gardner is a very aggressive left fielder, and he plays that wall so well. Justin Smoke was anticipating the ball going down into the corner, but it hit the wall, ricocheted right back to him. In a one-hop throw, that ball's got to be handled by the second baseman. Gardner threw a strike. There's the tag, but Smokey kicks the ball out of his glove. Break for the Blue Jays.
RBI single for Morales. He is now 4 for 5 against Lynn. Here's a look at the play, and that's right on the money. He's got to catch that ball. Smoke would have been out, should have been out. Russell Martin, he too has had a lot of success against the Yankee starter Lance Lynn. He's 8 for 20 with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. Blue Jays with an early lead, 1-0.
They have been raking in the first inning lately.
The Blue Jays have really had trouble scoring lately. Last night they had 7 hits, scored a total of 2 runs. Now they have scored 2 runs or less in 5 of the last 7 games.
Couldn't take advantage of the base on balls. Tonight, already 2 walks, and a run has scored because of it.
Time and time again, Yankee pitchers walk Blue Jay hitters, but they couldn't cash in, take full advantage of it. Aaron Boone's got through a little bit of the same thing with his offense. They haven't scored many runs lately. Russ Martin with the count in his favor, 2-1. Well, it's over on that inside pitch. Larry Vanover's the home plate umpire. He's a veteran, been around for a long time. It looked like Martin turned to Vanover and said, "Hey, was that inside?" And it might have been.
It might have been. It looked like he took something off of that, turned it over to try and get the ground ball.
Blue Jays had their road home run streak snapped in Kansas City last night. They had homered in 13 straight road games. That came to an end. Martin swings at that high fastball. Up and away for the strikeout. 2 down now. There's that strikeout via the fastball you were talking about.
He'll use it. He'll use it up in the strike zone if he has to, like he did there, or he can go down if he needs to. I think that's where you want to throw that fastball, with 2 strikes up. You get a swing, a pop-up, or a lazy fly ball to the outfield.
Lazy fly balls to right go out of the ballpark here. 2 outs for Kevin Pillar. Blue Jays don't have their best speed on the bases. Smokes at second and Morales at first. Larry Rivera, the third base coach, really got to remind himself who's running, even though there are 2 outs. Kevin Pillar had a good rip, found it straight back to the screen. Pillar 6 for 14 in the 4-game series in Kansas City. Got a 3-game hit streak. He's always hit well against Kansas City. He was 1 for 4 in the game last night with a couple of strikeouts.
Drove in multiple runs in back-to-back days in Kansas City.
That's a little flare into right. Walker coming hard. He's not going to get there. 1 run is in. Smoke's going to score. Morales is going to third, and he slides in ahead of the throw. Kevin Pillar with a little flare down in the right field line. Drives in the 2nd run of the inning. Extends his hit streak to 4.
In this ballpark, you don't have to play that deep in right field, because anything over your head's going to go out of the ballpark. A lot like Fenway Park, but Walker is deep in shading Pillar into the gap, and Kevin's going to take advantage of it. He had a check swing double down the right field line in last night's game here. Little excuse me swing will pick up another run for the Blue Jays.
He's being a very smart hitter right now. Smoke comes in to score from second base. 2-0 Blue Jays, and Randall Grichuk, who's playing in left field tonight, hitting in the 7th spot. Grichuk and Lynn were teammates with the Cardinals in St. Louis. Fastball off the plate inside. 25 pitches thrown by Lance Lynn in his first inning. Well, we have seen that more and more from this Blue Jays offense. They make that starter work early.
In this ballpark, when you have a chance to score runs, you better take advantage of it. When you've got a Yankee starter on the ropes, they've got a couple of more runners out there, you got to take advantage of it. They've got a deep bullpen, and they've got some guys who can club some home runs. So Blue Jays have Lance Lynn on the ropes.
Fastball command is an issue. You saw that Lynn has thrown more balls than strikes in this first inning. Grichuk would like nothing more than to deliver against his former teammate with 2 outs. 2-0 Blue Jays, and they'd like to make it 3-0 at least. Another good pitch right down and in. Mentioned Lynn pitched 6 years for the Cardinals. He missed the entire 2016 season with injuries. His career high in wins came in 2012 when he was an all-star for the only time in his career. He was 18-7 in his first full season with St. Louis, pitching then as a 25-year-old. 2-2 pitch. Outside, it's a full count. So with 2 outs, Pilar at first will get a running start. Aledmus Diaz, also another Cardinal teammate of Lance Lynn's, will bat next if Grichuk can keep the inning going. Morales is at third. There goes Pilar. Foul back over the screen.
Boy, it's a rising fastball. If he doesn't get it to where he needs to, and that one is not where he wanted it, he's going to pay the price. It's been a tough first inning for Lance Lynn this season.
30 pitches this inning, and you can see his numbers in the first inning have not been impressive. Grichuk again takes ball 4. That's the 3rd walk in the inning, and that'll load the bases. And here comes the pitching coach Larry Rothschild out of the Yankees dugout. Rothschild is in his 8th season as the pitching coach of the New York Yankees, and he's going to have a chat with his new pitcher. Lynn making his 3rd start since joining the Yankees.
Yeah, this might be just a, hey, I got to give this guy a breather. He has thrown a lot of pitches already. Here are the 2 starts with the Yankees this season at the White Sox, pitched into the 8th inning. Then his last start against Texas, excellent. 5 innings. He had 8 strikeouts in the Texas game, 9 strikeouts against the White Sox.
Lynn is pitching in the Yankees rotation in the spot of Sonny Gray. Gray has been demoted to their bullpen, so Lynn is trying to pick up the slack. Gray is 9-8, but his ERA at 5.43. He made 21 starts before he lost that spot in the rotation. Here's Diaz against his former teammate with the bases loaded. Jump on that first pitch. Oh, he was looking for it.
He knew his former teammate Diaz likes that fastball. Looked like he changed up on him a little bit. Threw him a slider.
Blue Jays this season are 4-9 against New York. Ground ball up the middle, through for a base hit. Morales is in the score. Here comes Pilar, and it's a 4-run first inning as Aledmus Diaz drives in a pair.
When you have the opportunity, you got to take advantage of it. They got the bases loaded, and Aledmus Diaz, who's been swinging a hot bat since the All-Star break, as hot as anybody on the Blue Jays, is going to cash a couple more with a base hit back through the middle. They play him to pull. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, playing him to pull. They cross up the defense, hit that ball back through the middle. Grichuk was thinking about going first to third, but stumbled ever so slightly around second base, so he's got to hold up.
So the 9th man to bat here in the first inning is Richard Urena, who's playing shortstop for a 2nd straight game. Urena for the season, a .267 hitter in the big leagues. 4-0. for the Jays. Big swing by Urena. Long inning for Lance Lynn. Fouled up. The Yankees went into the All-Star break red hot, and then that All-Star break seemed to really slow them down. You look at their record since August 1st, they're 2 games under 500 at 7-9. Their ERA is inflated, and they haven't hit a thing. How much of an impact is that without Judge and Sanchez?
That's the answer right there. Those two big bats, you take those type of All-Stars out of the lineup, and of course your offense is going to scuffle.
Urena strikes out, but the Blue Jays work Lance Lynn for 37 pitches, a 2-run single by his former teammate Aledmus Diaz. 4-0 start for Stroman. Struggling to score runs, finds himself down 4-0 before they come to the plate. Let's take a look at their offense. The lineup tonight: Brett Gardner, Giancarlo Stanton, and then Aaron Hicks. Hicks has got a 5-game hit streak. He's hit well in that 3rd spot this season for New York, and down in the 5th spot is the rookie Miguel Andujar, who everybody expects to be the American League Rookie of the Year. He had competition from his second base teammate, but he is kind of slacked off. That's Gleyber Torres. But Andujar has hit the Blue Jays well this season.
Yeah, he's coming on strong. He's Mr. Extra Base Hit. They will face Marcus Stroman, his 18th start of the season, coming off a no decision versus Tampa Bay, allowing a run on 5 hits over 5 innings. That was the 6th start for Marcus this year of 1 run or less in a start. All have come since he has returned from the DL. Facing the Yankees, he's 6-5 in 15 career starts. And for his career, the Yankees have hit .224 against him, the 5th lowest mark against the Yankees for an active pitcher.
There's the first pitch, strike to Brett Gardner.
Knock down. We're not doing that. We're not doing that out of double.
That didn't take long.
First pitch of the inning, and Larry Vanover, the veteran, said, "Hey, I don't want to hear any barking from the Yankees." Yankees were complaining that that was a low pitch, and it was called the strike. And Larry Vanover, you could hear him say, "Let's not do that. We're not going there."
From the dugout, you can tell lower high. And you can't see if it's inside or outside, but lower high. And that's the one where you usually see those players or managers, coaches barking at the home plate umpire.
Good pitch inside. 1-2 now to Gardner. Marcus is making his 9th start here at Yankee Stadium, and things haven't gone so well for him pitching in this ballpark. He is 2-5 and has given up a .294 average here at Yankee Stadium. His numbers overall, he is 6-5. It's a little flare. Kevin Pillar has got a good beat on it. He was shallow and makes a good play. One away. So Stroman has put together some good starts recently, and take a look at his 8 starts here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, he's got some interesting splits at home. He's very good, but here at his home, he is from New York. He hasn't had a lot of fun at Yankee Stadium. A 584 earned run average, 37 innings pitched, 24 earned runs against him, including 7 home runs.
Giancarlo Stanton rifles that ball into the stands. Stanton hitting .281 for the season, his first season with the Yankees, and he's reached that 30 home run plateau. Stanton got off to a rough start in his Yankee career, but things have kind of settled down for him, and he's putting up good numbers once again.
He had his Yankee moment. I remember that. It was a walk-off home run here at Yankee Stadium, and everybody said that's his moment where he became a Yankee. That was earlier this year. He got off to a great start at home against the Blue Jays. Blue Jays at Rogers Center. Remember that? Hit a couple of home runs in that series.
First opportunity to play at Rogers Center as a Yankee. Stanton's just 28 years old. This is his 9th major league season. He came up as a 20-year-old with the Marlins back in 2010. That's a good pitch. That's Martin. You can see the body language of both Stroman and Martin. Said, hey, that was a strike to Gardner. And it's a ball to Stanton.
This guy's a little bit taller than Gardner.
Come back with another good fastball. Martin holding his glove very quiet to make a point. Full count now. Did he go? Yes, he did. Stanton goes around. That's a strikeout for Stroman. 2 outs in the inning.
Kind of like where Marcus is locating his pitches right now. Everything is down with some movement. Giancarlo went around. First strikeout of the night for Stroman, but keeping that ball down is going to help him. And we talked about that in the opening, about the injuries that he has had with the blister on that right middle finger. Hurts him when he throws his 2-seamer, but tonight it looks like he's locating it better.
Here's Aaron Hicks, the center fielder. Ball ran off the plate inside, and Stroman asked for the appeal. Vanover says, I got that. He's a senior umpire in the league, a veteran of many big league seasons. Fly ball, that's going to be out of play. 4-0 Blue Jays. They had a bat around inning against Lance Lynn. They forced him to throw 37 pitches, and that'd be another reason to have Stroman retire the side quickly, so Lynn goes right back out there and doesn't have a long break to catch his breath.
Yeah, get him back out there. If you've got 100 pitches to work with tonight, he's a third of the way there.
Slow breaking ball, not high enough. Well, he took a lot off that breaking ball. We don't see many pitches from Stroman at 72 miles an hour. Two balls and 2 strikes. Number 3 hitter in the Yankee lineup. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, is hitting cleanup.
He's having a great year. Gregorius, they have him in the number 4 slot. Not too many shortstops hit cleanup for teams.
That's a good pitch. Stroman threw a good slider there, caught the inside corner. It's called ball 3, and it's a full count to Hicks. And you can see Stroman say that's a strike, and I agree with him.
Yeah, it's moving. Remember, it's not where you catch it; it's where it crossed the plate.
It got plenty of the plate. He tried it again. That one was inside for ball 4. That's unfortunate. Hey, look at the defense behind Stroman. Obviously, the infield is always important, but there's a new look in the outfield tonight with Randall Grichuk.
It's .399 to left center field here. A lot of territory in left center field. So John Gibbons wanted to put Randall Grichuk out in left field tonight. This is his first start in left field this year, but he's had 91 career starts out there. He's not he's not unfamiliar with left field. Right field at Yankee Stadium so much easier to play than left field, so they put Granderson in right and Grichuk in left tonight.
D.D. Gregorius, as you see, Granderson in right, and he knows all about Yankee Stadium. Played here 4 years with New York. Gregorius takes the first pitch, strike. 21 home runs and 69 driven in by the shortstop. Check swing, didn't mean to. Stroman should have been out of the inning with 15 pitches. Looked like strike 3 with the breaking ball on the 15th pitch of an inning. Larry Vanover called it a ball, and then he would throw ball 4 to Hicks. He's at first now. 0-2. Another check swing.
Whoa.
That one hit right off the fence in front of the Blue Jays dugout.
Stay loose, Pete. Danny, stay loose.
Well, you and I both played at a time when there were no fences
No.
in front of the dugouts. And I tell you what, there'd be a lot of scrambling on those types of check swing fouls.
Yeah, you didn't go up and lean on a fence because there wasn't a fence there. You sat back on the bench.
Another 0-2 pitch. Upstairs. So again, you know, you talk about pitches that don't go in a pitcher's favor. Not only does it lead to somebody reaching base, he's thrown 5 more pitches than that pitch that could have been the final pitch of the inning. Now it's 6. Another ball. 2-2. And with Stroman battling that blister issue,
You need short innings.
he needs short innings.
Yeah, and he thought he had it on that pitch to Hicks, but it was called a ball, so it has extended the inning. Got to be very careful to left-handed batters in this ballpark.
And a fly ball to left field. That's going to drop. Pilar has it go by him, and that's going to cost him a run. Hicks is around third. He's going to score. Didi is on his way to third base. Pilar took a shallow angle on that ball, and when it hit the grass, it took off and went all the way to the wall in left center. Hicks scores from first base, and the Yankees are on the board.
Well, that really surprised Pilar. Looked like he was heading over there to cut the ball off, and you know, it rained a little bit right before the game, and maybe the ground is a little bit damp in the outfield, because when that ball hit, watch how surprised Pilar is. He thinks he's going to go reach for it, and it just shoots right by him all the way to the wall. That allows Hicks to score from first, sends Gregorius to third with another triple, and instead of throwing a shutout ball in the first inning, he's got a runner on.
And a dangerous hitter to plate in Miguel Andujar. Andujar was worn out the Blue Jays this season. He's got 5 doubles and 2 home runs, and he's driven in 10.
Well, Larry Vanover did not care for what Marcus Stroman said to him after that first pitch.
Yeah, and I don't blame Marcus. And he was squeezed on that Hicks at bat, and now the Yankees are on the board.
It was the veteran Russell Martin who got in between, and he was able to calm down the home plate umpire. Remember the first pitch to the Yankees? He wasn't happy. That's a strike. And he's saying it's up, and then Marcus said something, and then there's Russell trying to calm him down.
You see Vanover says, you better talk to him, Russell. There's a drive to right. Granderson is not going to get it. Gregorius is in to score, and Andujar is headed for second. He's in safely ahead of the throw. One pitch has changed the entire complexion of this inning. And Andujar picks up his 13th hit against the Jays this season and his 6th double.
Another extra base hit. It seems like that's all he hits is extra base hits. He's got power to all fields. And Aaron Boone was telling us when we were playing them earlier this year, he's going to be a middle of the order type of bat for 10 years, and you can see why. Excellent power the other way and enough speed to get him into scoring position.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, is jogging out to the mound, and this is a timely visit in my mind. It's been a long inning, and you saw Larry Vanover bark at the Yankee dugout on the first at bat with Brett Gardner. And then this is the situation. This is a slide at second as Urania tagged the runner Andujar, but he maintained contact with the base. Larry Vanover is going to go out to the mound. And he turned around before. Now he's signaling to the press box that is a mound visit indeed. But what a difference in the inning. The 15th pitch of the inning looked like it was strike 3. And now Stroman has been forced to throw 10 more pitches, and the Yankees have scored 2 runs all after that fact. This is Gleyber Torres, another rookie.
He has been struggling with the bat lately, Torres, but very dangerous. He's a free swinger.
He's hitting 151 over his last 20 games, just 11 for 73, and he struck out 24 times.
Lots of breaking balls they've been throwing him.
Now again, not to belabor a point, but that's the 11th pitch after Stroman thought he had Hicks struck out. And now the quality of his pitches has diminished dramatically.
Remember the first 2? Everything was down, sinkers down, sliders down. Getting under the ball just a little bit now.
Marquez was spot on to the first 2 batters and then walked Hicks. 1-2 to Torres. He gets him. So the long inning is finally over. 29 pitches for Stroman, and you can see what he thinks about the strike zone early in the game. But the Blue Jays still have a 4-2 lead.
There was a sense of relief when he finally got word he was traded. After weeks of speculation, Happ figured he would be dealt. He just wasn't sure where. That ends up being here in New York, where wearing the pinstripes and the navy is still a little weird for him. So too will be facing his former team on Sunday afternoon. And it was with them that Happ had those 2 starts in the 2016 postseason. And now much of that core is gone less than 2 years later. And Jay's take on it, it just goes to show that when you have an opportunity, you want to take advantage because you just don't know how long you can sustain it or how many times you'll get back there. And now here's Happ in New York 2 years after those October starts for Toronto in a playoff race with the Yankees. Guys, only 6 players remain from that 2016 Blue Jays October run.
Yeah, it's pretty universal, Rash, that teams have turned things over dramatically. You see Jay Happ talking with CC Sabathia, and Happ, we knew he'd be a good addition to this Yankees rotation. Happ is 3-0 since coming to New York. He's won all 3 of his starts. He's allowed just 8 hits in 19 innings and struck out 15. That's what J. Happ does.
And a left-hander pitching in this ballpark, that's money. You got that huge field in left center field.
Curtis Granderson batting for a second time already tonight. Blue Jays sent 9 men to the plate and put up a 4 spot. Pete Walker, you could see him shaking his head, and he's thinking the same thing that Stroman is. Stroman got squeezed, no question about it. Breaking ball in the dirt. I mean, that's exactly what you wanted from Stroman. Your team scores 4 runs in the top of the first. He gets the first 2 out, and then he throws a great slider to Hicks. Looks like strike 3. 3 up, 3 down. Go back in the dugout and let the offense take over. That's not what happened.
Yeah, 2 earned runs after the walk to Hicks.
Granderson's late on that one. Curtis Granderson has spent a lot of time in New York, obviously. Played with the Yankees and he played with the Mets, and he knows all about playing in the Big Apple.
I remember when they first traded for him, the New York Yankees. I'm like, what a perfect marriage. Ball player in ballpark.
Curtis had 2 40 home run seasons here while playing with the Yankees in 2011 and 2012. He also led the American League in RBIs in 2011.
That's why right there you can see how short it is to right field, and left-handed hitters for Yankees in this ballpark, they get right on top of the plate and dare you to pitch them inside, and all you have to do is just get it up in the air. It's not very far to right field, and Curtis Granderson was made for this ballpark.
Granderson has hit 69 home runs in this ballpark, and obviously it's a good fit. 69 homers, 166 RBIs in 268 games coming into this one. It's a good visual for him, that's for sure.
Right on the plate, looking to hook that ball.
This ball is in center field. Gardner coming over. He calls for it in the alley in left center and makes the catch. 1 away. Boy, pitching in the Yankee Stadium, and it's always been this way. I don't care if you were back in the original stadium before they redesigned it in the 70s or the second stadium. If you keep the hitters in the big part of the field, you can have a lot of success. And you don't have to strike out everybody. Just give your outfielders a chance to make some plays.
Locate that fastball, and Lance Lynn in the first inning couldn't locate the fastball. Doesn't locate it again.
Inside. Lynn obviously should be able to handle the humidity. He played 6 years in St. Louis.
Hotter there than it is here, right?
Dramatically.
He's having some problems, though, to keeping that arm dry.
Yeah, he is. He's just trying to find a dry spot on his uniform. You see him wiping that hand wherever possible. Another foul back out of play. Devin Travis, he reached on a fielder's choice and he scored the first run of this ball game. He scored on the Morales opposite field RBI single. Morales really crossed up the defense. They were playing him to pull, then he went the opposite way. This ball is playable. First baseman Greg Bird calls for it right on the edge of the grass, and he makes the catch. 2 quick outs for Lynn here in the second. Justin Smoke walked in, scored in the first inning, and he has always enjoyed hitting against the Yankees, no matter whether playing here in New York or in Toronto. Look at his season numbers this year.
This isn't just 12 games played against the Yankees. He's had 11 RBIs. He's hitting over 350 against. Talk about a guy from the left side who is really made for this ballpark. Smokey, if he played for the Yankees, I think he'd be pushing 40, 45 home runs yearly playing in this ballpark. He has that ability to pick on those pitches inside and just loft them to right field. He's had a grand slam this year. Wasn't that against the Yankees?
I believe that was at Rogers Center. That was the controversial move when the Yankees chose to walk Donaldson and pitch to Smoke with the bases loaded, and he hit a grand slam off David Robertson.
Do-over.
Oops. Smoke didn't get the analytical memo.
Well, you can see why they're trying to pitch him away. They got the whole defense on the right side. StatCast AI is powered by AWS. You can do that to Smoke. You can play him over there and pitch him away. He'll still pull the ball.
I think it's really interesting, and you're right. That's the way to play him on the ground. But in the outfield, you can see how the Yankees play him. They play him straight up. He's got power to all parts of the ballpark, and he can drive a ball out of the ballpark to left center field, or to right.
You saw that last breaking ball out of his hand.
Rolls over that pitch.
You can always tell a hitter is getting ready to go on a nice little hot streak is how they recognize the breaking ball from the pitcher and how they take it. He was in good hitting position to take that breaking ball down. Now throw him for a strike and see how far he hits it.
It's a 4-2 ball game. Both clubs scored in the first inning. Strike three call. That fastball, he located that one. Down and away for strike three. Different inning for Lynn in the second. He retires the side in order. He had his problems in the first, but no problem in the second. Smoke caught looking at a heater down and away.
Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. And if you go to the ballpark in Cincinnati, you won't be seeing Joey Votto for the next 10 days on the DL. Right lower leg contusion. Guys, he was hit by a pitch on August the 4th.
Finally had to give in to it, and it didn't get any better, so they put him on the DL. And if you had that app, you'd also see that the Phillies have a 4-1 lead over the Mets. He has Noah Syndergaard has given up 4 runs in 4 innings against Nola. How about that? Aaron Nola, Phillies. He's a young star. Ground ball. Travis from the outfield grass throws out Craig Bird. 1 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Jose Ramirez is having one of the best offensive seasons in years. He comes into this game and then hits his home run to 37th. He also has 27 stolen bases, hitting over 300. He's done everything.
Everything. His team is also in first place. that MVP award, this is when you start to win it. I think you start to separate yourself from here to the finish line in the American League. Who's going to take it? Is it going to be J.D. Martinez, Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez? I think it's going to be one of those three.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mike Trout has been on the shelf for so long. You know, another thing that Ramirez has done that makes you stop, he has walked 79 times and struck out 57 times. 22 fewer strikeouts than walks. In this day and age, that's unheard of. His OPS is 1.045, and he is really putting up big numbers. I know everybody's anxious to give it to you, J.D. Martinez. I don't think it's a done deal just yet.
No, well, from here to the end of the season, that's when you win it.
Neil Walker got jammed and hits a slow roller to first base. 2 quick outs here. You know, too, and I think Cleveland's schedule is really conducive to Ramirez going on a real run offensively. Their schedule is not very strong. They're going to play a lot of teams that are under 500, and I expect that they're going to put on a real surge now.
I haven't seen their schedule, but I'm guessing they're going to be staying in their division, and they've got 3 teams in that division who are basically rebuilding. A lot of young pitchers you could take advantage of. I know they play the Blue Jays 4 big games in a series at Rogers Center at the beginning of September. So we'll still get to see Jose Ramirez.
They have a big lead over the Twins, as everybody else in that division is under 500. And obviously this time of the year you play your own division a lot. So they're going to boost their win total. They got some bad news on the injury front with Trevor Bauer. Got a stress fracture. He's on the disabled list. They don't expect him back for a significant amount of time. Got a stress fracture in his leg.
One outlet that I saw and heard about saying that he might be done for the season. That's a little bit too much for a stress fracture, I would think. There's still 6 weeks left in the baseball season and the playoffs.
There's a fly ball to right field. Granderson moves in the direction of the foul line. Quick inning for Marcus Stroman. He threw just 9 pitches in the second. We'll go to the third. Morales, Martin, and Pilar.
Look at the records since Aaron Judge has been out and Gary Sanchez. This is a better team, and when you take those 2 pieces out of this team, the offense, it's a different type of team. In Sanchez's case, he came back off the disabled list and then got hurt the first inning of the first game. He came back, had to go back on the disabled list. Judge, they got some news saying like, hey, 3 weeks. That was, I believe, yesterday or today. It's been 3 weeks, and he said it's going to take more time. Aaron Boone was saying today, he's thinking it's going to be more like 2 more weeks before he can start swinging that. They want to make sure all the pain is out of that wrist when he swings the bat.
Yeah, and that's obviously an important step forward, but it's going to be a while yet. Sanchez, we saw him practicing today, throwing from behind the plate. He took batting practice. He's much closer than Judge. But they're 2 big, potent bats that they sorely need back in this offense.
And that pushes everybody back down on that Yankee team, down into their regular spots in the order. Remember earlier in the year we were talking about, boy, there's no soft spots in this lineup. There's no breathing room. Now there's a couple guys that you can pitch to get through innings.
Sanchez talking with Ronald Torreyes, the utility player. The Yankees, everybody thought it was going to be a 2-team race for the division title in the AL East, but Boston has. The difference in Boston's season has been the way they've dominated against the American League East. The Yankees and the Rays are 27 and 26 against the East. The Yankees, or the Red Sox, have 43 wins.
And that has given them that record right there, 86 and 36 at play tonight as it gets started, making it a runaway division.
The Red Sox are 43 and 15 against the American League East. That's the whole difference. The lead in the division.
We're sounding like, you know, the Yankees are in a free fall, but they have the 2nd best record in the American League. They've got 75 wins. But everybody thought it would be closer, and it probably would be if they had some of their guys back.
The problem the Yankees face is the wild card. The seeding of the wild card. Oakland is just on their heels now, and Oakland has passed Seattle. And the Yankees go out west. Morales again going against the shift. Long throw for Andujar. Not in time. Morales has his 2nd hit that crosses up the shift. He's been doing it a lot more. And we wonder, well, when are guys going to get tired of making outs, hitting it hard into the shift?
He's 2 for 2 tonight by going the other way. A ball down the left field line, his first time up, that got a run. This is going to be an infield hit, and Andujar can't get that ball across the field. Kentries hustling down that line to get that infield hit. That'll straighten out the defense. Start hitting the ball the other way, and he can do it. The guy's a baseball player. He can handle the bat.
So he starts the inning, this 3rd inning, with a infield base hit. Russell Martin struck out his first time up. Then got him on a high fastball, very similar to that pitch right there. The Yankees will go out to Oakland. They play a 3-game series Monday, September 3rd, and then they go to Seattle for 3 and Minnesota for 3. That's a long trip in September.
It's a long way to go in September. That's a lot of miles.
And then after that trip, the Blue Jays will be right back here on the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then the Yankees will have the Red Sox and the Orioles before they head out for their final road trip of the season to Tampa Bay and Boston. Martin rips it foul. Tampa Bay just won 2 of 3 from the Yankees here at the stadium, and you know what? They're no pushover right now.
Yeah, and they shut this team down. They scored 1 run in each game that they lost. I mean, shut them down. That's hard to do in this ballpark.
Again, it reflects the absence of Judge and Sanchez. 2-1 to Russ Martin. Martin wasn't so sure that was a strike. He saw how quickly he turned and looked at the home plate umpire. Didn't say anything. Russell's got this 13-game on bases streak on the line. During the streak, he has hit .368 with 3 homers, 7 RBIs, and he scored 10 runs. Very productive streak, and he's always hit well against Lance Lynn.
He is at his best when it's left center to right center. You don't want to see a high number of balls pulled down the left field line.
Full count now. Kevin Pillar has an RBI base hit already tonight. He'll bat next. Ground ball up the middle. Gregorius will go to the bag. That's one. Back to first. That's two.
The 2018 Honda CR-V, where style and versatility come together.
We're in New York at the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. This is the 14th game these two teams have played this season. As we mentioned, the Yankees are done at Rogers Center for the year. The Blue Jays will come back for one more trip here in September.
Good take, just down low. Pillar starting to swing it. He got that swing going in Kansas City, and I think that hanging curveball had something to do with that. The 0-2 hanging curveball that ended up being a game-winning home run for Pillar. Had a double in last night's game, his 30th of the season.
This is pop back behind the plate.
That's 4 straight seasons now for Kevin.
Yeah, it had a dramatic impact. Obviously, it was his first road home run of the season, his first game-winning RBI of the season, and as a result of that home run, the pitcher Blaine Boyer was released.
And you say, well, can one hit do that for a hitter, turn their time around, get them out of a slump? Absolutely. You just feel so much better about yourself, and you go up there and you start hitting line drives everywhere.
But it also reminds you what a good approach feels like. He might have been pulling off that breaking ball in the past, and he was in a hole, and obviously you feel terrible at 0-2, but he hung him a breaking ball and he hammered it into the seats in left. Talking about you want to be consistent, and how about Pillar? How consistent these last 2 seasons have been.
This is crazy. April, look at what he did at 17-18. These are almost identical. June and July he goes down and then picks it back up in the month of August. He's hitting 295 this year, 292 last year.
We always say no matter how a player starts or how he winds up, he's going to find his level at some point during the course of a season. And when you have a player like Pillar, who's playing in his 5th, 6th season in major leagues, that's the player that you're going to get. He's going to show up sooner or later, no matter how he starts, hot or cold.
You have the blueprint. It's there. Just look at his baseball card. That's probably what you're going to get.
He's called out on strikes as Lynn has zeroed in now. A couple of good innings for Lance Lynn's after a rocky start to this ball game. Blue Jays still have the lead.
Supply 500. That comes up Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific on Sportsnet 1 and 360. Guys?
Thank you very much, Arash. Arash Madani is here with us in New York. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. First of three against the Yanks right now. Marcus Stroman has a 4-2 lead. Now the breaking ball, it's 1-1 to Gardner. Gardner flying out to center field his first time.
What a pesky hitter he has been over his career, especially against the Blue Jays.
18 career home runs against the Blue Jays. Most home runs he's hit against one club.
He's like Curtis Granderson. He's like Russell Martin, where he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. He's always amongst the leaders in pitches per plate appearances. There's the numbers you were just talking about, most versus any opponent. And he always seems to be hitting in fastball counts.
Travis gathers and fires one away.
Well, Marcus has the best ground ball percentage. He had 16 ground ball outs 2 starts ago, 11 more, and now look at the ground ball percentage. It's getting up there. He started at 63 April through June, down to 62.5 in July, but it's up to almost 70%, and that's because of that 2-seamer. And he's spinning a much better breaking ball, and when he's keeping the ball down, he's going to get his share of ground ball outs.
And he's giving up weak contact in the month of August, as he's only allowed a 13.2% of hard contact against him, and that's his ability to mix up pitches and change speeds. Giancarlo Stanton, the number 2 hitter. Stanton is the DH.
Or those borderline pitches, he's getting none of them.
Ground ball up the middle. That'll be a base hit for Stanton. Right back over the mound.
They turn him loose 3-0. And you got to be happy that a ball that's elevated doesn't end up in the seats. With this guy hitting, just goes right back through the middle. Turn him loose 3-0. You're hoping for a quick strike.
So Stanton's aboard for the first time. Aaron Hicks, he walked. He took that controversial pitch against Stroman in the first inning. It looked like strike 3. It was called ball 2. Actually called ball 3, and then he would walk on the next pitch.
One of the things that Marcus has in his favor, even when he gives up base runners, he can get that double play. Over his last 2 starts covering 12 innings, he's had 3 double plays to help him get out of innings. If you're Aaron Hicks, you know that. So you have to change your swing and try and get the ball in the air.
It's a high strike. 1-1 to Hicks. Hicks is in his 3rd season with the Yankees, and he's dealt with injuries that have robbed him of consistent playing time. In his first year with New York, he had just 327 at-bats. Last year, only 301. And again, he's dealt with it. His at-bat total coming in this game is 350.
He got hurt that opening weekend in Toronto versus the Blue Jays. And yesterday, in the game yesterday, he stepped on the bag awkwardly, rolled his ankle. There was some thought that he might not be able to play tonight. But he finished that game. He said, it's very sore, my ankle, but I've got to be in there. They have gotten beaten up by their outfielders, have gotten hurt a lot this year.
And Hicks obviously sensing that Judge is out, and they just don't have the ability. Frazier's out.
Ellsbury hasn't played at all this year. Jacoby Ellsbury. Clint Frazier is still dealing with some headaches and some concussion syndrome, so he's out. Judge is out, so Hicks says, man, I got to play.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Stanton at first. Blue Jays sent 9 men to the plate in the top half of the first inning and scored 4 runs. Took advantage of Lynn's wildness. Lance Lynn, the starter for New York, walked 3 in that inning. He also threw a wild pitch. But the Yankees got 2 back in the bottom half. Pulled foul. Hicks played his first 3 seasons with the Minnesota Twins. 3 years in Minnesota. Played a total of 247 games. He has always dealt with injuries. He's just not a guy that has stayed on the field. The most plate appearances he ever had in a full season, 390 in 2015 with the Twins.
But he's been a talented player and a productive player when he plays.
Three and 2 now. Stands at first. Cleanup hitter is D.D. Gregorius. He has tripled, drove in a run, and scored a run. He's on deck. Stanton is not running. Ground ball to first, knocked down by Smoke. He'll step on the bag. They'll retire Hicks on the play. Stanton moves into second. Smoke got anxious, thought that was going to be a double play ball, and it was, but it went off his glove. All he could do is get the runner at first.
Yeah, so you do the next best thing. Make sure you get the out. That's 2 outs now with that runner in scoring position. Bounces off the bag to his backhand side, and it just lifted up a little bit.
They always talk about that being the challenging play for a first baseman. You're holding a runner on, then you bounce off, and the ball's hit back toward the base. It's a tough play. D.D. Gregorius. Gregorius hit a triple into the alley in left center. Looked like a routine base hit, then it hit the grass and skipped past Pilar, went all the way to the fence.
70 RBIs now for Gregorius. That is amongst the league leaders in the American League shortstops. Lindor is up there. Bogarts is up there.
Oh, nice play by Stroman. He saved himself a run. That ball was headed for center field. Gregorius is re-timed. The Yankees get a base hit. They don't score a run. They leave a base runner. We'll go to the 4th. Marcus Stroman is a Gold Glover, and he's flashing that Gold Glove here tonight. Nice play to end the inning.
team shop for the Toronto Blue Jays. You can visit them at the Toronto Eaton Centre, Rogers Centre, Gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk. Also dial them up at jaysshop.ca or 1-877-JAYS-SHOP, and plenty of Players Weekend merchandise also there at jaysshop.ca. Buck?
Players Weekend coming up next weekend, where the players have the alternate uniforms and they put their nickname on the back. I guess you'd wear Tabby, right?
Yeah, it would be.
It would be Tabby. That would be good.
How about you? Would you go with John?
No, John.
That would be your nickname, wouldn't
Tour
it?
guide.
Yeah, you are a tour guide.
I'm a tour guide.
You've been the tour guide for years, too.
Going back to Milwaukee.
Goes back to the Milwaukee.
Yeah. That's where they put that handle on me, the tour guide.
I bet you that was Gorman Thomas.
It was Gorman Thomas.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it. That's perfect.
You know what his nickname was?
I've heard some of the
Well,
fans.
the one we can talk about.
I've heard some of the fans call him
Chewy.
Chewy.
Yep, after Chewy Baca. Resemblance? Of course.
Absolutely.
There's a little flare down the left side. That's going to be out of play. Milwaukee, for me, had the best nicknames of any team I played on. Captain Sal. And
Gumby.
the kid, Gumby. Gumby was the second baseman, Jim Gantner. We called Molitor the doctor because he had a pair of white buck shoes, and Sal Bandler dropped that on him.
They don't have good nicknames anymore.
No,
in
nothing
baseball.
colorful. Pumpsy Green. We talked about this. Big Sexy's probably the best nickname of all right now, don't you think?
Cologne
Yeah.
of active players.
Yeah, active.
Yeah. The Big Sexy.
Gritchick with a 2-2 count. Hopped up high in the air. Second baseman Torres on the edge of the grass makes the catch. One away. Lind has settled in nicely. That miss Diaz had a 2-run base hit his first time up. Capped off a 4-run first inning. Blue Jays scored 4 runs on 3 hits. Diaz was a teammate of Lance Lynn's while they were both in St. Louis last season. He crossed him up. He threw him a couple of fastballs, and Diaz said he knows I'm a good fastball hitter, so he's probably going to throw me a breaking ball. There you go, thinking again.
That's your classic example of guessing, right?
Yep.
Guessing that you're going to get that breaking ball, and he threw a couple of fastballs right by you. He's not afraid to hit the ball the other way. I think that's why his average has gone up since the All-Star break. His power numbers have gone up since the All-Star break. Tucks that shoulder. If they throw him breaking balls away, he can hit the ball the other way. If they throw him in, he's quick enough to pull the ball to left field. He's been on a home run rampage lately.
7 homers since the All-Star break. There's the breaking ball. Give him a front door breaking ball, and that's the second out of the inning.
Take on any project with Home Hardware. Proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's how.
Yankee Stadium 3, as they refer to it. It's the third iteration of Yankee Stadium. This one is in a different location than the first two. First two were just across the street, but they have recaptured a lot of the history here.
People might not understand what you're saying about Yankee 1 and 2. I mean, it was the same stadium. It was just refurbished.
This one's a new stadium.
This is a brand new one,
Yeah.
right here. Number 3.
The other two stadiums, originally Yankee Stadium, was across the street here. Now it has become a great recreational area. There are ballparks there. There's a running track, soccer fields, and they have made good use of the former site of Yankee Stadium.
Richard Urania takes one outside.
You played in one, didn't you?
Yeah.
One. And then when they shut it down for a year or so,
We played at Shea.
you played over at Shea.
Yeah. 74 and 75, we played at Shea Stadium while the next edition of Yankee Stadium was being finished. Just a high fly ball. Gardner was shaded in that direction, just shy of the warning truck. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in the top of the fourth. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. Marcus Stroman pitching with the lead.
Judge was hit by a pitch, suffering a chip fracture in the wrist, and at the time the Yankees expected the big fella to be back within 3 weeks. There's the hit by pitch there, but the timeline isn't even close. Instead of being back in the cage hitting, Judge this week has had another CT scan, another MRI, and on Monday a cortisone shot too. Now, Yankees GM Brian Cashman was on WFN radio here in New York this week and admitted the team, quote, undershot the initial diagnosis, and as you can see from this quote, they don't really know when Judge will be back with what they're calling a number of unknowns. Stay tuned, fellas.
Yeah, you know what? He's a big guy, and he's a very strong guy, and he's got a bone fracture in there. It's going to take a while to heal. And your body's going to tell you when you're ready. He can't even swing a bat yet. So he is weeks away from playing again with the Yankees.
And he can't swing a bat, or he shouldn't swing a bat until the hand is completely healed.
It's got to be pain-free.
Pain-free. Because if it's not, and you start changing your swing to protect the pain in your wrist, bad things are going to happen.
Yeah, and there's so many moving parts in your hands and wrist, and then you tear one of those ligaments. That's even worse than a broken bone. No telling how long you might be out. So you just got to ride this out. Hopefully you get Sanchez back before Judge, and then he can pick up the slack a bit. And Duhar flies out to Pilar. Gleyber Torres, he's had a good season, but he has been slumping of late. Stroman struck him out the first time he faced him.
That's a smart idea right there for Marcus. If that batter swings at that first pitch, leading off the inning and makes an out, pump that first fastball right in there. Chances are that next hitter's taking.
Yeah, they don't want to make 2 outs on 2 pitches.
Nope. Nope. They want to make him work, so he'll take a strike.
Stroman threw a lot of extra pitches in the first inning, and he is now up to 61 pitches, working in the fourth.
You know what's been good so far, at least that I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed it too. I haven't seen him look at his finger one time tonight.
No. That's a great sign.
He was doing that a lot in his last start against Tampa Bay, and he can only throw 5 innings. That is a very good sign.
Foul back. It is a good sign, and when you think about it, I mean, if say for a fan that's not a baseball player, goes out in the yard and gets very aggressive with a shovel or a rake, and he all of a sudden makes a blister on his hand. Just think about how long that takes for you to have that heal without using your hands again in the same fashion. Well, baseball players have to throw baseballs, and you don't have the time to sit and get healed and get that skin grown back over that blister area.
You have to go back out there, and you got to throw on the side, and you got to do your work on the side, and then throw 100+ pitches in your start. Just aggravates it. He'll turn the baseball on his two-seamer. That's when he really starts to feel it. He'll turn the baseball and he'll throw a no-seam sinker where he's just throwing it right against the leather of the baseball.
That's a foul ball.
Where he gets the problem is when he has his fingers along the seam line to get the grip, to get the movement that he needs on that two-seam fastball.
I don't believe there have been as many instances of blister problems this year as there were last year. It seemed like it was much more epidemic last year. Another 3-2 pitch. Drilled to left field. That's going to get down. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Grichuk plays it off the fence as Torres heads for second. That's his 12th double of the season, his first hit of the night. Breaking ball was up.
Yeah, Marcus got underneath that ball, and if you get underneath it, your hand underneath it, you can't pull it down and get it down in the strike zone. Torres takes advantage of that high breaking ball, sends it out to left field for extra bases.
Torres was acquired in a trade July 25th of 2016 from the Cubs for Aroldis Chapman. Turned out to be a very good move for the Cubs at that time, and certainly for the Yankees. Greg Bird fouls off the first pitch. Bird grounded out to second base, his only time up.
He's had a hard time getting his season on track. 211 average. He does have the 9 home runs. Started the year on the disabled list. Really felt the boo birds in the game yesterday when he made it out in the 9th inning.
People just don't relate to ball players when they miss significant time and they don't get regular at bats. It's going to take them a while to get everything going together. When Bird first came up in 2015, he had a terrific introduction to the majors. He had 11 homers and 31 RBIs. There's another pickoff attempt. That's an unusual reaction. Crowd upset that Stroman's trying to pick off a runner in scoring position. Go ahead and let him get a big lead. 0-1 to Bird. Bird had envisioned him being a regular first baseman, taking over the first base and being a fixture there. He's still just 25 years old. He's got big power.
Yeah, he's just had injuries galore at the start of his big league career.
He gets jammed on an inside pitch.
He had surgery in March, the end of March this year, on his right ankle. It sidelined him for 2 months. He didn't come back till the end of May this year. And he's been playing pretty regularly since. And reading an article today, they're saying, well, maybe he's fatigued because he's playing a lot.
He's 25.
I know, you're not supposed to get fatigued.
And he hasn't played much in his career. Fly ball down the left side. That's going to be out of play. For the Yankees, they've got most of their young position prospects in the majors. They have a pretty stocked minor league system as far as pitchers go. But with Andujar here and Gleyber Torres here, Greg Bird, and a lot of their young players here with them right now, learning on the fly in the big leagues. Got a battle going on with Bird and Stroman. Bird's fouling off some tough pitches. He's left some pitches out over the plate, and he's gotten away with a couple.
Yeah, and Bird, who hasn't been swinging the bat very well lately, has missed them. He's got that power stroke to right field. Another one of those left-handed hitters that were made for Yankee Stadium.
Another foul ball. That wouldn't hit him. Now, Bird had problems a couple years ago. He fouled the ball off his leg in spring training after he was having a great spring and missed significant time. And eventually that would lead to the surgery you're talking about. He had to have that ankle repaired.
Yeah, something like 8 home runs in spring training. Looks like he was going to be the opening day first baseman. But he went on the disabled list, underwent ankle surgery.
Another 1-2 pitch from Stroman. Wow, just off the plate. You can see Martin holding it for Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire. Give him a good look. 2-2 now. They'd seen a lot of pitches in this at bat.
Got to figure out, all right, how are we going to get him out? We're in this situation now, runner in scoring position. What's my go-to pitch?
It's like he cut that a little bit.
Yeah, still trying to cut that ball. With his start against Boston 2 starts ago, Marcus's cutter was the best I've seen this year. He was really tying up the left-handed hitters inside with that cutter. They just couldn't extend and get the ball out in front.
Trying to get him to chase that breaking ball. He wouldn't bite. Full count now. 9 pitches so far from Stroman, and he hasn't had a resolution. He had that extended out inning in the first. Threw 14 more pitches than he should have in that first inning. He looked like he was out of the inning on his 15th pitch.
That's a whole extra inning.
Yep. Three and 2. Ball 4. Just the second walk issued by Stroman. So Bird wins that battle. They work Stroman for a walk.
There are so many patient hitters in this Yankee lineup. That one is close, but he takes it for ball 4.
Stroman hasn't gotten any close calls going his favor tonight. Neil Walker, the right fielder. Walker's a switch hitter, batting left-handed. 2 aboard. Blue Jays have a 2-run lead.
That's that cutter right there. You can see how tied up Walker trying to swing and catch that ball. It starts to coming in on your hands, and you pull your hands in to try and catch it. It just doesn't work. You get a lot of weak ground balls off of that.
Fly ball to right. This ball is going to go. Walker has hit a 3-run home run, and the Yankees have the lead. For Neil Walker, his 7th home run. The Yankees hitting in this ballpark for the one swing of the bat, and they're right back in the game.
You fill up with left-handed power hitters to get the ball in the air. Get a couple of guys on, a double and a walk, setting the stage for Walker. He made a good pitch on pitch number 1, that cutter that was up and in, and he couldn't get to it. Then he left that one out over the plate, and it was down. Good low ball hitter, Walker.
Walker's got power. He's had 2 seasons of 23 home runs. One with the Pirates in 14, one with the Mets in 16.
And that's all it takes. A couple of guys on. There's that cutter. You could see Russell wanted that ball inside again, and it stayed out over the plate. Just have to quicken up your bat, which he did.
Travis makes a good play. Throws out Romine. 2 away. Well, Walker with his 7th home run of the season, 3 RBIs. He's up to 33, and the Yankees have erased an early deficit. Lance Lynn pitched to 9 batters in the first and gave up a 4 spot. Now he's got the lead.
That's the danger of this Yankee team. They can score with the home runs, especially in this ballpark, and then you got to deal with that deep bullpen.
Brett Gardner's 0 for 2. Falls behind 0-1. What a nice crowd here tonight. And they are anticipating a big crowd tomorrow for the celebration of the 1998 World Series championship team. There's a base hit for Gardner. Granderson plays it on a hop. That ball almost skipped by Granderson. He had got over to it. It really was a routine play, and then the ball skipped on the west grass and took off. We saw that earlier on the triple by Didi Gregorius in the alley and left.
Surprised some of the outfielders. That one surprised Curtis. He was going to play that one on a cozy little hop, and all of a sudden it hit that grass and almost got by him. You play deep to cut off balls, and watch how surprised he is once he hits it. Once it hits it, he's got to react.
This is Giancarlo Stanton, a DH. He's late on that first pitch. Gardner at first, 10 for 11 in stolen bases this year. And now don't be surprised if he runs with Stanton falling behind, as you see Joe Biagini starting to loosen up. Stroman's pitch count up to 84 on a hot, muggy night. Gardner not running here, 1-2.
That's where you have to be careful with Stanton in this ballpark. 0-2, you're going to throw that slider down and away. He hits from that closed stance. See that? And he can reach that outside pitch, and it doesn't take much to get it out of here. Russell did the right thing. He went inside and up just to back him off the plate just a little bit.
Full count now. The Yankees scored 2 in the first off Marcus, and now they have a 3 spot here in the 4th. Gardner will be running for sure on this full count pitch. There he goes. Popped up. Diaz into foul ground. The third baseman is there, and that'll end the inning. But the Yankees score 3 runs on 3 hits and a walk. They take a 5-4 lead. Now time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddle from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Pacific tomorrow on Sportsnet 1 and Sportsnet Now. Keuchel against Cahill in Oakland. Buckle up. That should be a great race.
I'll tell you what, it is going to be a great race, Roush, and there's no question about it. Don't discount the Seattle Mariners. Oakland, I think Oakland right now, in my mind, at this moment, Oakland's the best team in the West.
I don't know how they're doing it with their pitching. Their starting pitching.
Their starting has been good.
We know their bullpen is outstanding. I don't know how they're doing it.
The names aren't impressive, but they're getting good results. Their starting pitching has been good.
You know, when you hear starting pitching teams like Garrett Cole and Dallas Keuchel,
Scherzer and Syndergaard and DeGrom and all those guys. They don't have any of those guys.
None. But they're getting the job done. I think you got to give a tip of the cap to Jonathan Lucroy, the catcher. He's doing a heck of a job with that staff.
You know what? He has done a good job. And we talked to some of the Oakland people. They love what Lucroy has done with that staff. When Lucroy signed out there as a free agent, he had a stipulation. If I sign with the Oakland A's, I'm playing every day. I'm not going to platoon. Don't give me any rest. I'm here to play every day. And he's done that. Big right-hander Chad Green is loosening up for the Yankees. Curveball way in the dirt. The 37-pitch first inning has really elevated the pitch count of Lance Lynn. He's now thrown 95 pitches with nobody out in the fifth.
95. That's why you see Green warming up. His season high is 118. He did that 4 starts ago at Kansas City. But now they have the lead. Excuse me, Buck. So a little bit different thought process now for Aaron Boone.
Granderson shoots it into left. Gardner is on the run, and he's not going to get it up against the fence. Granderson will pull up at second with an opposite field leadoff double, his 19th double of the season. And that's going to intensify the work of Chad Green in the Yankees bullpen.
Grandy goes right with this ball. He can hit that ball on the inside part of the plate, and if it's away, he goes right with it. Here's that short power stroke, slicing the ball to left field for extra bases.
Now, Granderson, you know, he is making light of what he just did, but he turned around to check out what the outfielders were. He's over there, he's over there, and he's over there. And then Travis shoots it into the second deck.
Well, you know what Devin's going to try and do. Going to try and advance that runner with a base hit to center field or right field. So Lynn started him off with an inside fastball.
Shoots it past Bird into right field. Granderson is being waved around. Here's the throw to the plate. It is a good one, but not in time. Oh, what a good throw by Walker, who is only making his 7th start in right field. But Louis Rivera very aggressively waving Granderson home from second. And the Blue Jays have tied it up.
Didn't get a great jump off at second base, did Grandy, but when the ball went underneath the glove of Bird, he broke. And then the aggressive move again by Louis Rivera. Here's the throw from Walker, normally an infielder, right on the plate, but Grandy slides under the tag.
An aggressive slide by Granderson, and that base hit by Travis knocks Lance Lynn out of the game. The big right-hander Chad Green will come in. It's a 5-5 game. Justin Smoke will bat against Green when we come back to Yankee Stadium. his pitch count. He is done here with no outs in the fourth, and the bullpen will take over. First up for New York, Chad Green.
Yeah, it's a deep bullpen. Chad Green in 48 games. He's won 5 games out of the bullpen for this team, an ERA under 3. Fastball and a cutter. He gets a lot of strikeouts, and he can control all of those pitches. In those 48 games, he's only had 11 walks all season.
There's a lot of power in this Yankee bullpen, and Green is one of those power arms. Smoke takes one up and away for a ball. Smokey has walked, scored, and struck out. He is officially 0 for 1. Hits this ball into center field. Aaron Hicks just a couple of steps back. He makes the catch. Travis back to first. Curtis Granderson with a leadoff double here in the 5th. He is knocked in by Devin Travis. An RBI single. Travis continues to swing the bat very well. Travis is just hitting the ball hard to the right side. Doesn't make any difference in the air, on the ground. He is really swinging the bat very well.
You can see Didi Gregorius was pushing Andujar back over towards third base because Morales has a couple of hits to left field, starting to straighten out that defense.
I'm surprised it's taken hitters so long, and they just keep saying, well, you know, you guys don't understand. The pitching is so good now. They throw so hard. Hey, you got half a field to hit you. You don't have to crush it to get a base hit the other way.
You don't have to swing hard. The 2 hits from Morales the other way, he didn't swing hard.
First hit was a 2-strike RBI single. Anderson with the leadoff double. He has walked and doubled. Officially 1 for 2 tonight. A little dagger into his former team. 0-1 to Morales.
Kendrys knows he's going to get fastballs from Chad Green, so he's trying to hook that ball in the seats. 2 very aggressive swings on those first 2 pitches.
12 home runs against the Yankees in 78 games for Morales, but he is 0 for 5 against the pitcher Chad Green. Look out. Snap throw to first, and Travis is back. That ball in on his hands. Tampa Bay stopped in Toronto, New York, and now they're in Boston, and they trail the Red Sox 4-3, top of the 6th. Ryan Stanek opened for Tampa Bay, pitched just 1 inning. He pitched the 8th inning here the other night, the other afternoon for Tampa Bay against New York, and looked good. I think that's where he's going to end up.
Back into the bullpen.
Strikes out.
Back into the bullpen.
Yeah.
Not this opener thing.
Yeah, he is a reliever for me. So Morales strikes out. Green gets the first 2 he has faced here in the 5th. Russell Martin is over 2, a strikeout and a ground ball double play. Brian Johnson is pitching for the Red Sox. He's got a 4-3 lead. 2 outs for Martin.
Yeah, but not really a threat to steal over there at first base. He's only had 4 attempts this year. But Chad Green checked in on him nonetheless.
Foul back.
He's getting his signs from Louis Rivera.
Couple more feet. 12-13. That's when you're a threat to run.
Yeah, he can take another step too. He got back easily on that last throw over to first base.
Rivera going through those signs once again. Russell Martin, like Granderson, spent time with the Yankees. He played 2 seasons here in New York, 11 and 12. There's a strike. Russell was an all-star playing for the Yankees in 2011. He had 18 home runs in his first season, 21 home runs in his second season. Then he went to Pittsburgh for 2 more seasons with the Pirates.
And Gold Glove defense for sure, wherever he stopped over.
1-2. Now it's even at 2-2. Lester goes upstairs and spoils a pretty good pitch. That's the pitch he struck out on in his first at bat. High fastball up and away from Lynn.
And they're going right back there with 2 strikes. Trying to elevate. But that could be a good thing to a right-handed hitter, up and away. Just slow things down a little bit, get the ball airborne to right field, and you can get in your home run trot.
There's a base hit for Martin. Travis stops at second, so Russell will extend that streak to 14 straight games, reaching base. A 2-out single for Martin. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Xander Bogaerts also with a couple of RBIs in that game. And Mookie Betts, he continues to hit. I think that's the one thing that's going to keep J.D. Martinez from challenging for the Triple Crown. Mookie Betts.
Yes.
Kevin Pillar goes after the first pitch. It's a deep to center field, but Hicks has plenty of room. He breaks it down and makes the catch well short of the 408 sign. So Green gives up a 2-out single and nothing more. But at the bottom of the 5th, it's a 5-5 game in New York.
and earn My Blue Jays points for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage, and the code must be entered by 4 a.m.
We have a pitching change here in New York. You see Blue Jay fans are abundant everywhere the Jays travel, and after 4 innings, it'll be Joe Biagini taking over for Marcus Stroman.
It's unfortunate. Marcus looked like he had his good stuff early on, but a walk, a triple, and a double gave up those 2 runs in the first inning. Joe Biagini, for the 37th time, takes over, and Joe's been a different pitcher his last couple of times out. He has really concentrated on using his fastball a little bit more often. Take that cutter, bag it for a while, that sinker bag. Let's go with our fastball and our curveball and see if we can jump ahead of these hitters here and have some good innings, and he has his last 2 times out.
It's a 5-5 game, middle of the order for the Yankees. Hicks, Gregorius, and Andujar. First pitch, curveball. Biagini's got a great fastball, a lot of sinks, 95, 96. P. Walker has kind of encouraged him to utilize it more. Biagini is making his 7th all-time appearance here at Yankee Stadium.
2 outings ago, Buck, against Tampa Bay, through 2 innings, just continually pounded the fastball in there. Gave up just 1 hit, then he came back against Kansas City and had 2 innings. Pounded that fastball in there, shut him out for those 2 innings with a strikeout. The whole key for Joe, I think, is get ahead early with that fastball and use it.
The changeup, the appeal down to third base, and Jason Visconti calls Hicks with a swing. It's 2-1 now. Great one. Hicks leading things off for New York here in the 5th. Yankees scored 2 of their runs in the first inning and then 3 more last inning, and that's where we stand now. Blue Jays tied it up with a run in the top half of this inning. Biagini's making his 4th appearance against New York this season. All 4 of those appearances coming out of the bullpen. Great off walk.
The 2018 Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Five ball game. Nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. First to 3 against New York here at Yankee Stadium. Biagini will now work to D.D. Gregorius. Gregorius had an RBI triple and scored a run in the 1st.
Joe's been pounding that fastball in there like we told you. Over his last 15 outings before tonight, he had walked just 2 batters. That's what you have to do. When you come out of the bullpen, you've got to throw strikes. You got to make him put it in play. And unfortunately, it looked like it could have been called a strike, but it was called ball 4, so another leadoff walk for the Yankees.
High fly ball. That's going to stay in the ballpark. Pilar runs it down. Gregorius is retired. Hicks back to first. Marcus Stroman deserved a better fate here tonight. Looked like he was out of the first inning, a 1-2-3 first inning, but he did not have a call go in his favor. He threw 14 more pitches in the first. He's out of the game after 4 innings. He is charged with 5 earned runs on 6 hits, couple of walks, and threw 88 pitches.
Those 2 strikeouts, both in the first inning. Didn't have a strikeout after that.
Miguel Andujar, third baseman. Andujar just 23 years old, and boy, they didn't have plans for him to play every day at third base, and they brought him up. He got off to a great start, and he's not going to turn his job over to anybody.
Remember when they sent him down in spring training? It was, okay, we want you to play some third base. We want you to play some first base. We're not really sure where we want to play you just yet. Maybe we'll even put you in the outfield for a little bit. But Brandon Drury got injured early for the Yankees before he got traded to Tampa Bay, and Andujar was brought up and took that job and ran with it, and now it's his.
And Drury, of course, is now with the Blue Jays and currently on the DL. And fouls that one off. There's Billy McKinney, who has just been called up from AAA. Luke Maley has been placed on the paternity list, so he's away from the ball club. Billy McKinney came to the Blue Jays along with Brandon Drury and Jay Haptree. And McKinney, he injured himself in that first series of the season, running into the wall at Rogers Center. That put him on the DL. He hurt his shoulder.
Gibby was saying today that he's going to play tomorrow. Pretty much he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow.
There goes the runner, hit and run, and it's a beauty. And Duhar hits it right to the second base position. Hicks goes all the way first to third, and that was textbook hitting by Miguel Andujar.
You know, normally you don't put the hit and run on 1 and 2. It was more like the run and hit, that they were going to just start the runner and hope to open up a spot on the infield. Travis goes to cover, and Andujar takes advantage of that and just slices the ball the other way. First and third. Hicks had to jump out of the way of that ground ball. Almost touched him, but he made it to third base. That's how you take advantage of an opening on the infield.
Boy, Andujar has been some pleasant surprise. He was thought to be kind of an extra guy role player, and he's taken over at third base every day. Second hit of the night. Gleyber Torres, the second baseman, he goes after the first pitch. Tim Mayza, the left-hander, starting to loosen up. Greg Bird is the next batter, then the switch hitter Neil Walker.
I'm sure that's why Mayza's warmed up for that guy right there.
Mayza pitched last night in Kansas City. Ground ball. Arena second for one. Nice turn, but not in time. The big bouncing ball pushed the shortstop back. He had to play the high hop. Hicks comes in to score, and the Yankees have retaken the lead.
It'll be an RBI for Torres, his 53rd of the season. That's why you don't like strikeouts. Put the ball in play and then use your athleticism to beat it out. Yankees take the lead, scratch out a run here in the 5th.
So that leadoff walk comes around to score. All three of the walks the Yankees have drawn have come around to score in this game. Biagini is out of the game. Tim Mayza will come in. Mayza will face the left-handed hitting first baseman Greg Bird. The Yankees have retaken the lead here in the 5th. In the 5th inning with a man aboard and just one out. He has inherited a similar situation here tonight.
He ended up getting out of that inning, throwing 2/3 of an inning, had a walk and a hit. The hard-throwing left-hander will face a left-handed batter. It's the matchup that John Gibbons got him up for. You look at some of the splits, left-handers hitting 355 against him, righties 262, so some reverse splits against Mesa this year between those batters.
Greg Bird has grounded out and walked. Gleyber Torres is at first base. First pitch strike for Mesa. Jumps ahead of Greg Bird. It's a 6-5 Yankee lead. They have gone back and forth. Blue Jays took the early lead. The Yankees took the lead in the fourth with a 3-run inning. Both starters are out of the game. Lance Lynn went 4 innings, as did Marcus Stroman. Hot, muggy night. They both had elevated pitch counts in a short period of time.
Yeah, first inning really did both of the starters it tonight. Probably robbed them each of at least 1 inning. So now it's between the bullpens.
Stroman threw 88 pitches. Lynn threw 99 pitches, and Lynn had a 37-pitch first inning. Fly ball, routine fly ball to left field. Pitching is there. The inning is over, so Mesa gets his man. Will go to the 6th. The Blue Jays trail by a run.
Get ready for a refined travel experience and visit 787.westjet.com to see the whole story.
That's a great shot of the new Yankee Stadium, and you can see lit up behind Yankee Stadium, the baseball field. That baseball field is exactly where the infield was for old Yankee Stadium. And that's where the infield was. Same configuration.
Yeah, the top right up there, that's exactly the old Yankee Stadium.
So for the Blue Jays, they trail by a run. It'll be the bottom third of their batting order. Grichuk gets jammed on that first pitch and pops it up. Third baseman Andujar makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Chad Green. Green came in with a man on and nobody out. He was able to get out of the inning and give up a 2-out single to Russ Martin.
He last worked a couple of days ago against Tampa Bay, an inning and 2/3. That's what Aaron Boone likes to do. Likes to bring him in the middle of an inning, get out of a tough jam, give him another one, and turn it over to the rest of the the bullpen mates.
Sharply hit. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Here in the 6th. At that rate, Green can pitch 4 more innings.
Well, Urania's got to take a pitch now, doesn't he?
You would think. Richard Urania, the shortstop, is 0 for 2. Each team has 7 hits, but the Yankees have a 6-5 lead. There was hope that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. would be able to have a rehab start tonight down in Trenton. AA New Hampshire's playing in Trenton. This ball has hit the left field. What a quick inning for Chad Green. 4-pitch inning. That should get him another inning or 2.
Whether or not he'd be here until the end of this season, and who knows on 2019. It was today that GM Ross Atkins revealed to our Shai Davidi that Gibbons will indeed be the manager through the balance of this season. Atkins told Shai that they had a, quote, very, very candid discussion in Kansas City, that because of the recent rumors, they had some frank discussions about the future, and Atkins said, ultimately we decided he's our manager. We'll revisit at the end of that year what it means going forward, but for 2018 he'll remain our manager. Buck Gibbons, of course, is under contract through 2019 with a club option for 2020.
Yeah, and there was that rumor that started, and well, they were going to fire him at the end of the homestand and all that stuff. I never thought that was true or accurate, but whatever the reason, they feel like they have to make an announcement. He's going to be the manager for the rest of the season. So Mesa stays in the ball game and was able to get Greg Bird out, and he'll pitch to the switch hitter Neil Walker, who will turn around and bat right-handed. There's a fly ball into the alley. Here comes Curtis Granderson from his position in right. He makes the catch.
Tim Mesa has what it takes to be a major league reliever. He's got a big arm. His fastball can get there at mid-90s or so, and then a pretty good slider. Whole thing, I think, for Tim is location. His stuff is good. Now he just needs the experience and the ability to throw those pitches where he needs to, and he can get big league hitters out. That's a good pitch right there. He has been up and down the last couple of years, but it hasn't stopped him from being confident. He's still a confident player that he can help at the major league level.
It's a nasty slider. You mentioned his reverse splits. His numbers are better against right-handed hitters than lefties. But I think as he gains more experience and commands his fastball better, I think he can really shut down left-handed hitters. Let's see, veteran David Robertson loosening up.
First thing you have to do, I think, if you want to be a reliever is throw strikes. There's Santos. Luis starting to get loose. Throw strikes. And if you're left-handed, you have to have a pretty good breaking ball. And he has. There it is right there on display. And if you throw hard, that's even better. So he has all the qualities you need. Now he just needs some experience.
When you watch Mesa throw this breaking ball. The perspective for a left-handed pitcher is much better when they're facing right-handed hitters because it is a vivid image of where you have to throw that breaking ball to be successful. Against lefties, it's like there's nothing out there because you want to break it away from the hitters and there's no real perspective about where you have to throw it. I think that's why he misses so frequently, the left-handers. Well, with the right-hander, it's right in front of you. If I get this down and in, he's going to swing over the top of it.
Where do they tell you to throw it to righties, that breaking ball? Right to his back shoe.
Back foot, yep.
Yeah. And he did, and that's why he got that strikeout. We'll be able to tell right now with Brett Gardner.
Yeah, and you can see the image now. Where does the slider go? Yeah, you'd like to start it at his hip and break it over the plate, but there's not that definitive target you can really throw that slider to. I think that's why young left-handers especially have trouble really commanding their sliders early in their career. I think once Mesa gets there, he's going to overmatch lefties as well.
Yeah, because he throws, 94, 95 miles an hour with fastball, and you have to respect that. But he's got a good breaking ball. He should throw it right here, 0-2. Gardner has seen a couple of fastballs. Now's the time to throw that good slider.
He threw the slider but missed. Yeah, I think Mesa has all the weapons you need to be effective out of the bullpen. I think he can handle righties and lefties.
He's just made, some mistakes with those pitches, and I think that is experience. He'll just get experience and learn to do that.
Gardner hits it down the left side, and that ball is a foul ball. Grichuk plays it off the wall, but it's foul, slicing off the bat of Brett Gardner. Not a whole lot of room down there in that left field corner. So Gardner will have another swing. It's 1-2 against Mesa. Mesa has retired the 3 batters he has faced to this point.
He's had a couple of defensive swings right there. This is when you go right after him.
And you see that approach, and I mean, that's what a veteran lefty does against left-handed pitcher. You just stand back, just trying to put the bat on the ball, not trying to do too much. You survive these at-bats against tough lefties, and you wear out the right-handers. There's that breaking ball. Nice outing for Tim Mesa. He faces 4 batters, retires them all, and gets a couple of strikeouts. We'll go to the 7th. Granderson, Travis, and Smoke, top of the order for the Blue Jays. They trail by a run.
Saturday, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays replica batting helmet. BlueJays.com for tickets when the Phillies come to the Rogers Center. 4 o'clock start that Saturday afternoon, and the Canadian Nick Pivetta will be joining the Phillies when he comes north. Guys?
Indeed, we'll see Nick Pavetta there at Rogers Center. We're going to see David Robertson, former closer, now working in the 7th inning for New York. He'll start things off.
Told you they've got a very deep bullpen, and they get a lot of decisions out of the bullpen. This is David Robertson, the veteran reliever. He has pitched in multiple jobs for this team. He's the 7th inning man now. He's pitched in the 8th in front of Mariano Rivera. He took over for Mariano Rivera and did some closing for this before he went to Chicago. The veteran now will take over, and the Blue Jays have had his number this year.
Blue Jays have hit him around a little bit. And there's that hard curveball. That's his bread and butter pitch. He throws that curveball to Curtis Granderson. This season, Robertson has been hit by the Blue Jays. He got a .563 earned run average. 7 hits in 8 innings, a home run, and 5 earned runs.
5 earned runs, 7 punch outs. Curveball, little cutter on his fastball.
Ball on the strike. Chad Green, 2 innings. He struck out a batter, allowed just 1 single. That was to Russell Martin.
All curveballs. All curveballs. Remember, he doubled to left center field his last time up to Curtis.
And Granderson had a leadoff double in the 5th inning. Came around to score the tying run on the Devin Travis RBI single. And here he strikes out. Another good curveball from Robertson. So that will bring Devin Travis to the plate. And a look at that hard breaking ball.
Right over the top. That was set up by that cut fastball for strike 2 on the outside corner. Looked like it was going to be another cutter. But a breaking ball. He worked in yesterday's game and inning against Tampa Bay.
Devin Travis is 1 for 3. He scored a run and driven in a run. Good crowd here on this Friday night. 42,121 in attendance. Yankees draw well. They're playing well, and the crowd has responded. Travis hits that cutter foul.
I'm sure this place will be packed tomorrow.
Yeah, a special ceremony tomorrow to honor the 1998 World Series championship team.
Guys are starting to come into town. David Cohn was telling us today that he had lunch in a golf outing with David Wells.
The Boomer, he'll be here. I spoke to Paul O'Neill, who was a big part of that team, and I said, is everybody showing up? He said, you know what, we've had a lot of guys come. Jeter, of course, won't come. He's still the GM down there in Miami, and Scott Brocious is the coach with Seattle, so he won't be able to attend. Travis hits it high and deep to center field. Gardner on the run in front of the Blue Jays bullpen. He breaks it down. 2 outs, so that'll bring Justin Smoak up. Smoak has walked so far tonight, but back in April he had a big swing of the bat against this Yankee pitcher.
Yeah, it gave the Blue Jays a win back on April the 1st against David Robertson. Smoak had already hit a 2-run homer off of Tommy Kahnle in the 7th inning. In the 8th inning, he faces David Robertson with the bases loaded, and there she goes. A grand slam home run, part of a 6-run 7th and 8th inning for the Blue Jays, wiping out that 4-1 lead by the Yankees and sending them to a 7-4 win. So Smokey knows all about David Robertson.
And that was very early in Aaron Boone's managerial career, and he took some heat over that because Boone walked Donaldson ahead of Smoak, set up the bases loaded.
Yeah, intentional walk. The right-handed pitcher intentionally walking the right-handed batter, setting up that confrontation between Smoak, the left-handed hitter, and Smokey won that one.
Now, Smoak had homered in his previous at bat in the 7th inning, a 2-run home run off of Tommy Kahnle. He had a single in the 5th, so his 2 previous at bats he had singled and homered. And they walked Donaldson to get the smoke. They rattled Smokey's cage a little bit.
Yeah. Woke him up.
So Robertson now ahead in this at bat, 1-2. Robertson wins this battle. He strikes out Smoke with a good curveball. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of punch outs for David Robertson. Smoke strikes out. Yankees have a lead. Luis Santos coming out of the bullpen. Vackett always bats cleanup.
Aaron Judge is on the disabled list with a chip fracture in his wrist. Taking his place, Neil Walker doing his best Aaron Judge imitation as he sends this ball deep to right field, 402 feet away. He's been swinging a hot bat over his last 26 games. This is his 5th home run and 18 RBIs now for Neil Walker. That's tonight's drive of the game. That's why they have him out in right field. They want to give him some opportunities. He's done a good job for him defensively and offensively, starting to swing a hot bat. He's got the big hit in tonight's ball game.
It's a 6-5 Yankee lead. New pitcher for the Blue Jays will be Luis Santos. Santos on, making his 14th appearance. He'll face Stanton, Hicks, and Gregorius here in the 7th.
He's been pitching much better lately. I had a chance to run into him and ask him what's going on, and he said, you know what, I am just using my curveball, my slider more effectively. I'm using it more often. I'm throwing it for strikes, and that sets up my fastball. He does have 2 very good breaking balls, the slider and the curveball. Well, he has been much better lately, and he'll get a chance now to face the middle of this lineup.
Trying to keep the Yankees within striking distance. Blue Jays trail 6-5. Young Gibbons Ball Club just haven't been able to really capitalize. Scored 4 runs in the first inning, but have had just 1 run since. And the Yankees have the 6-5 hits. Both teams has 7 hits to this point.
Gibby's been using Santos for multiple innings his last 2 times out versus the Boston Red Sox, and then 5 days later at Kansas City, 2 innings. He just gave up a scratch hit.
First batter is Giancarlo Stanton, the DH. First pitch fastball for strike 1. As the slider, it misses. Stanton chases that high heater. Pitching matchup tomorrow. Luis Severino will go to the hill for the Yankees. He'll be opposed by Sean Reed Foley, making his 2nd start. of his young career. It starts at 12:30 Eastern time. That's the pregame show. Sean Reed Foley excited about his opportunity to pitch here in Yankee Stadium. Interesting young man, just 22 years old.
And turn the television on early. We're going to have that ceremony for you that we've been talking about tonight as the Yankees celebrate 20 years. Their 1998 World Series championship team. We'll have it here.
Fly ball deep to center, and this one's going to go. Stanton has put a charge in it. Over the Yankees bullpen in deep right center. Home run number 31 for the Yankees DH.
Remember, we were talking earlier about how he closes off his stance. And if you try to throw high fastballs away, all he does is put the bat out there, and he just has to hit a fly ball, and it's going to go in this ballpark. Santos tried to heat him up with that fastball up and away, and Giancarlo beat him to it. Here it comes. Man, that's right into a swing path the other way.
Stanton, home run number 31. He had 59 last year. He has had now 5 seasons of 31 or more home runs in his career. This is his 9th season. Now that's a home run hitter. I mean, he hit that ball, and as soon as he hit it, he knew it was gone.
I was watching Curtis Granderson on that one, and he had a great angle of that ball. He took about 2 steps and stopped.
Stanton has led his league twice in home runs. 2014 he had 37. That led the National League. Last year he had 59. That led baseball.
That now ties him with Nelson Cruz for the most home runs since the start of 2010. That's just power right there. Deep to right field. That's over the Yankee bullpen. 431 feet away.
He is so strong, and he's got basically a pretty short swing when he hits it. It's almost like he hits it, squares it up, feels it on the bat, and then cuts his swing off. Like tight. Almost like chopping a tree with an axe.
Chopping down the tree. I know one thing. I don't want to be in front of that baseball when he hits it.
Two and two now.
Wind is starting to whip up here, Buck. Start to swirl out on the field.
Well, the hot dog wrappers have been blown out of the stands. They're floating around the stadium now, and there are thunderstorms in the area. You can see how the wind has picked up and it's shifted. It was blowing out towards right field. Now it's blowing straight away.
Outfielders have to pick up on that the ball's going to start carrying just a little bit more.
Hicks strikes out. First out of the inning.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays. Only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
We're at Yankee Stadium, and you can see the type is being deployed after the Hicks strikeout. Umpires call for the grounds crew, and obviously rain has started to fall here in New York, and it's supposed to be a pretty intense thunderstorm, so the fans are headed to shelter as the grounds crew will unveil that tarp. Blue Jays players will get back into the back of the dugout to get out of the rain. We knew this was coming, and obviously I'm sure we'll wait and see how long it's supposed to